Dear students, let us continue our learning on the course Data Structures and Applications. We are in the sixth session of the module 2. The topics covered under this session are queues definition, array representations, queue operations, and variant of a queue, that is a circular queue. Myself, Dr. Suresh Adi from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering from Chandra Engineering College, Bantwal, Mangalore. Queues. What are queues? First, if you go for the definition of the queue, a queue is an ordered list in which insertions and deletions takes place at a different ends. As we learnt the stacks where the insertions and deletions both are carried at the same end, so it's in different notations compared to the stack. So in the queues, what happens is we have the two ends over there. The first end we call it as the front end, and the second end we call it as the rear end. The elements are inserted from the rear end, and the old elements are deleted from the front end. The variation will be the first two entered into the queue will be deleted from the queue first. That is, it is also termed as a first in, first out list. Wherein a stack is in last in, first out, where the last to be inserted is the first to be deleted. But in the queues, the first to be inserted is the first to be deleted. So it is also termed as a first in, first out list or last in, last out list. If we go for the representation of the queues, queues are represented either by using the linear arrays or we can go for using the linked list. One way linked list can be used over there. So queues are, when represented by a linear queue, we use the two pointers over there. One will be the front pointer, which contains the location of the first element of the queue, and rear will point to the last element of the queue. The condition front equal to null indicates that the queue is empty. Queue is empty. So in the queue representation using the array, when the element is deleted from the queue, then each time for the deletion, front will be increased by 1. That is, front will be equal to front plus 1. So when an element is added to the queue, then the rear element will be increased by 1. That is, a rear will be equal to rear plus 1. Right? So now if you look at the example here, when I insert the first element, both the front and rear are set to that element. When I put the second element, so now from the front A is visible and from the rear B is visible. That is, rear will be equal to rear plus 1. So when I insert the next element, then what happens? The rear pointer will be incremented by 1. That is, now rear point is pointing to C. So next, when I insert the D, so rear again incremented by 1. That is, now it is pointing to D. When I again insert the next element E, rear is pointing to the E. So when I go for the deletion, when I delete the first element, that is, front will be incremented by 1. Now the front is pointing at the B there. That is, for each deletion, front is incremented by 1, and for each insertion, rear will be incremented by 1. Let us take the example over here. So the same example which is symbolized with the indexed values. So now let us have a linear array for the representation of a queue within size of 5 elements over there. So when I put the first element over there, so initially front and rear both will be set to -1. When I insert the first element, both the front and the rear will be set to 0, index value 0, wherein the element A is inserted. Next, when I put the next element, now rear is pointing to 1, whereas the front is there at the 0. When I insert the next element, rear is pointing at a 2 and the front is there at the 0. When I insert the D, then the rear is pointing at the 3 and the front is there at the 0. When I insert the element E, now the rear is there at the 4 and the front is at the 0. Then when I delete the first element, so now front will be incremented to 1. They are not shifted and all. So shifting won't happen in the linear arrays. Just front will be incremented by 1. So now if you go for the queue operations, the first one is for the creation of the queue. So each element in a queue can have different types of elements. So we are using the structure for creating the each element of the queue. That is a type defined structure. Here for the sake of notation, we are using a single element called the key element over here. Next, we are creating the queue with a maximum size of 100 elements. Initially, no elements are there in the queue, so both rear and front end they are set to a value of -1. Next, the is empty case. So now how to check that the front check queue is empty or not. So to check that queue is empty or not, we are using the condition front equal to rear, which will be equal to -1. So when both are equal, then we say that the queue is empty. So to check that case of full, we check the condition rear end will be equal to maximum queue size -1. So if it is full, we can't add no more elements, so the queue will be full. Now to add the element. So before adding the element, we check whether the queue is full. How to check? Rear equal to max of queue size -1. If it is the case, then we jump to the condition queue full, or else we increment the rear pointer. That is, here we can see the pre-increment of the rear over there, that is plus plus rear. Queue of a plus plus rear will be equal to that item. The item what we need to insert into the queue will be copied at the location given by the rear. So rear is a pointer for an empty location in the queue. To delete the element, as I told earlier, so initially the case will be front equal to rear. That is for your when we go for deleting the element. So now we check the condition front equal to rear. If front equal to rear means the queue is empty. Now we return that condition queue empty, or else rear will be in front will be incremented by 1. So as stated earlier, for each insertion rear will be incremented by 1, and for each deletion front will be incremented by 1. The queue full condition. So when we go to this queue full condition, when rear equal to maximum size -1, that is if I have a queue size of 5, the last index value will be 4 over there. So when the rear will be equal to queue maximum queue size -1, then we say that queue is full. When we get that queue full, then we print the message that queue is full and we cannot add the element, and we exit from the program. Fine. So now let us look at some of the example over here. So where the queues are beneficial. So queues, if you look at the example over here, so when I put the first element over there, for each insertion, front rear will be incremented by 1, and for each deletion, front will be incremented by 1. That you have to remember. For each insertion, rear will be incremented by 1, and for each deletion, front will be incremented by 1. So initial case front will be equal to -1 and the rear will be equal to -1. That queue is empty. Now I insert the first element. When I insert the first element over here, so in this case it is the J1. That is, this is an example for job scheduling in the operating system of the microprocessor. So now here what happens is, so we are there in a multi-programming environment where the multiple jobs need to be executed over there. So in those cases, we use this queue application, that is your job scheduling. So now when the J1 comes, so now the first element is to be entered. So now we increment the rear pointer by 1. That is the front will remain at -1, but rear will be incremented by 1. -1 plus 1, which will be equal to 0. That is when I insert the first element, the rear element will be J1, that is the index value 0. Now when I insert the next element J2, front remains same, that is -1, but the rear will be changed to 1. When I insert the next element J3, front remains the same, that is -1, but rear will be equal to 2. Now when I delete the first element, when I delete the first element, so now what the pointer to be incremented for the deletion, that is the front pointer. So now the front will be incremented by 1. Earlier it was -1 plus 1, now it will be equal to 0. So now the first element is deleted. So next, that is front always points to the previous index value over there. You have to remember. That is it pointing at 0 means the element is not present at 0. The next element is there at the index value 1. So next case, when I delete the next job, that is J2, so now the front is incremented by 1. That is now the front value will be equal to 1 and the rear will be equal to 2 over there. This is how the job scheduling is performed in the operating system of the system. Now, let us see the drawback of the queue. So now, if you look at the scenario which is present over here. So what is the current scenario over here? So now we have when a predefined queue within size which can store 5 elements over there. So initially I inserted A, that is rear will be equal to 1, front equal to minus 1. I inserted B, rear will be equal to now 1 and front will be minus 1. Then I inserted C, then I inserted D, then I inserted E. Now rear is there at the value 4. So now you assume I deleted the first element over there. So once I deleted the first element, front will be incremented by 1, the front will be equal to 0. So now I delete the second element, so now the front will be equal to 1. So now I want to insert the next element. Or do we have the empty locations in our queue? Yes. Index values 0 and 1 are free. But we can't use because the queue full condition, what the queue full condition is, rear equal to maximum queue size minus 1, that condition is satisfying. So we are not able to insert the element even though we have some empty locations at the beginning. That is the major drawback of the queue. So now to how to overcome this drawback? That is the question. This till this point what we talked, it will be termed as the normal queue. Now how to overcome this drawback? To overcome this drawback, variants of the queue are there. The different methods are there to overcome the drawback of the queue. So now how to overcome? So now the first method, when the element is deleted from the queue, move the entire queue to shift to the left, so that the first element is again queue of 0. That is no need to increment the front value. You retain the front pointer to minus 1 only. You shift the queue over there. Now if you look at the example which is present. Earlier we were having the element A, B, C, D, E. When I delete that A, you retain that front, but rear you decrement by 1. But the rear you decrement by 1. That is the first method which can be used. But the drawback with this method is each deletion needs an entire shift of n elements over there. Each deletion is not a simple deletion, it is associated with shifting the elements over there. So now shifting the elements is a time consuming. So that is it will take lot of time rather than doing the queue operation over there. So now to go for the other variant. So now since it is a time consuming, so they thought of having the other variants for the queue. Now let us go for the variant. Other variant is to have the circular queue. So circular queue means you connect the end to the beginning. That is once that rear reaches to your end location, you reset that one to your beginning over there. That is if you have any empty locations in the queue, that can be reused. That is a variation of the normal queue which we call it as a circular queue. The continuation of this circular queue we will discuss in the next video. Thank you. The references for this presentation are taken from the textbooks Fundamentals of Data Structures in C from Horowitz and Sartaj Sahni.